Pleasant day to our esteemed panelists, instructors, and guests. We, the Group 9 from Visayas 3A, composed of Mr. Lawrence Powell S. Reyes, Miss Julia Millet G. Valdez, and yours truly, Miss Jenny Ann V. Santos, are here to present the culmination of our academic efforts through our research entitled Steering Through Crisis, analyzing the role of corporate governance in helping small-medium enterprises navigate crisis. It is with great pride and enthusiasm to share our study with you today, and we hope to provide meaningful insights through our presentation. So let's get started.
A pleasant day to everyone. I am Julia Millet G. Valdez, and I'll begin our presentation by walking you through Chapter 1, the introduction of our study. So this part lays the foundation of our research by discussing the background, purpose, objectives, and significance of this study. For the background of our study po, corporate governance provides rules and structures that guides leadership and accountability po. It plays a crucial role in managing risk and ensuring effective crisis response po. Having a strong governance enables quick decisions and recovery, while weak governance po can cause delays and damages po. And according po sa Crisis Preparedness Gap or CCG 2024, it reports that 59% of companies faces crisis but only 54% have crisis plans po, revealing a major preparedness gap. Firms without plans risk greater losses po and disruptions, while those with solid governance respond and recover better po. So SMEs po drives economic growth through job creation and innovation po. Their flexibility helps them adapt to changes. And the challenges and vulnerabilities of SMEs, because they often lack resources and formal structures po, making them more vulnerable to crisis and slower to recover. So for the purpose of our study po, so this study explores how corporate governance helps small and medium-sized enterprises or SMEs po to prepare for, respond to, and recover from crisis. Governance refers to the system and structures that guide decision-making and accountability within a business po. So, SMEs are vital to the economy but are especially vulnerable to disruption. So, without strong governance po, they may struggle to survive in times of crisis. So, the study aims to identify key governance factors that influence SME resilience and offer practical strategies po to strengthen their crisis response. So, ultimately po, improving SME governance supports business continuity, protects jobs, and contributes to broader economic stability and growth po. So, with the study context established po, we now turn to the key objectives. So, the objective po is the role of good governance in crisis management. So, this objective examines how strong governance structure helps SMEs prepare for, respond to, and recover from crisis by guiding leadership, decision-making, and accountability. So, by analyzing how good governance structures influence these three aspects, the study aims to highlight best practices and strategies that organizations can adopt to enhance their crisis management capabilities. So, for crisis preparedness po, good governance ensures proactive planning, risk assessment, and communication strategies are in place before crisis hit po. So, in crisis response naman po, strong structures support quick, ethical, and informed decisions during a crisis. So, promoting stability and control. So, for crisis recovery naman po, governance fosters transparency, financial stability, and long-term resilience, helping rebuild operations and stakeholder trust. So for the next objective po is analyzing the impact of governance structures on SME crisis resilience. So this objective focuses on how different governance structures affect SME's ability to anticipate, adapt to, and recover from crisis. So different governance models po, SMEs operate under various structures, family-owned, partnership, or formal corporations, each shaping risk management and decision-making differently. So, next objectives po is identifying governance challenges in SME crisis. So this objective highlights the key governance issues SMEs face during crisis po, such as unclear leadership, weak decision-making, and limited resources po. So these challenges po can delay response efforts, reduce transparency, and threaten business continuity. So by understanding these obstacles po, the study aims to support stronger governance and improve SME resilience. So for this objective po, evaluating the role of governance reforms in SME recovery. So yung objective po na to assesses how governance reforms support SME recovery after crisis. So reforms po may include stronger financial oversight, clearer leadership, formalized decision-making, and improved stakeholder communication. Such changes po help stabilize operations, maintain business continuity, and rebuild trust. And by analyzing and evaluating these efforts po, the study aims to identify which reforms most effectively support financial stability and long-term resilience. So for the last objective po is proposing governance best practices for SME crisis resilience. So this objective po aims to identify and recommend governance best practices that strengthen SME's ability to withstand and recover from crisis. Key practices po including formalizing structures, improving financial oversight, and enhancing crisis communication, and also engaging stakeholders. These strategies po support better preparedness, response, and long-term sustainability. Let's move on po to the significance of our study. So this study po is significant for SME owners and managers as it provides valuable insights into implementing strong governance practices that can enhance decision-making, improve risk management, and strengthen crisis preparedness. By applying these practices po, SME leaders can better navigate disruptions, make informed decisions, and ensure the long-term stability of their businesses. Next is for policymakers and regulators, as it offers evidence-based insights into how governance structures impact the resilience of SMEs. So by utilizing these findings po, they can develop policies and frameworks that can strengthen SME governance, ensuring that businesses are better equipped to manage risks, respond to crises, and drive sustainable growth. Strengthening governance practices in SMEs can contribute to the overall stability and growth of the economy, fostering a more resilient and competitive business environment. This study po is significant for investors and financial institutions po kasi it provides deeper understanding of governance-related risks that may affect the performance and stability of SMEs. So by gaining insights into how governance structures influence crisis management po and overall resilience, investors and financial institutions can make more informed decisions about where to allocate resources, assess risk, and evaluate the long-term sustainability of SMEs. So this knowledge po kasi can help mitigate potential risk and foster more secure investment opportunities po for businesses. So this study po is also significant for business researchers and academics as it provides a foundation po for further exploration into the relationship between corporate governance and crisis management. The findings can inspire future research on governance practices, their impact on business resilience, and how they contribute to sustainable growth po. So offering valuable insights for advancing academic knowledge in this area po and enhancing the understanding of effective governance in times of crisis. This study po is significant for SME employees and stakeholders din po, as it highlights the importance of how strong governance in improving crisis response mechanisms. So by strengthening po yung governance practices, SMEs po can enhance their ability to effectively manage crisis, ensuring po yung quicker recovery and stability. So this is in turn po can lead to improved job security and financial stability for employees and stakeholders, as more resilient businesses po are better positioned to weather disruptions, and maintain steady operations po. This study po is also significant for entrepreneurs and startups as it provides valuable insight into best practices po for building resilience and managing risk effectively. So by adopting strong governance practices po, entrepreneurs can better prepare for unforeseen challenges, enhance decision making, and ensure po ng long-term sustainability sa kanilang business. The knowledge gained from this study po can help them navigate future disruptions more successfully, so increasing their chances of growth and stability in a competitive market. So for the structure of this study po is it divided po into 5 chapters po that builds a clear understanding of how governance affects SME crisis resilience. Una po is introduction. It outlines the study's purpose, objectives, and significance. Next po is key concepts. It defines key terms and theories on governance and crisis management. Next po is data gathering. It details the research methods and data sources used in the study. Next po is discussion. It analyzes findings on governance structures and their impact on SMEs. Lastly po is executive summary, where it summarizes key insights, best practices, and recommendations po.
Good day everyone, I am Lawrence Paul Reyes, and I'll be taking you through Chapter 2, which focuses on the key concepts relevant to our study. This section highlights the definition of terms, key theories, as well as the challenges and opportunities identified in existing literature. So now, let's take a moment to explain some important terms that will help us understand how small businesses can deal with tough situations through good governance. So, these are some of the definition of terms that the researchers use throughout the study. So, pang-una po is ang crisis management. So, crisis management is all about how business gets ready to or for unexpected problems, kung paano po sila nakaka-react when something goes wrong and how they recovers afterward. So, this includes po planning ahead and knowing what to do when crisis hits like sudden drop in sales o kaya naman po ay supply chain issue po. So, next po is corporate governance. So, corporate governance po is the system of rules, processes, and policies that guide how a company run. So, minimake sure po nito na yung business is managed responsibly, yung mga decisions ay nagagawa ng wisely, at yung mga risks ay na-handled na properly. So, the third one po is governance framework. So, governance frameworks are like the blueprints for running a company. So, pinapakita po dito kung sino po yung in charge of what, how decisions are made, and who is held accountable. So, this helps business po to stay organized, especially during crisis. So, pang-apat po is small and medium enterprises or SMEs. SMEs or small and medium enterprises po are the business that aren't very large in size or income, but they play a big role in creating jobs and helping the economy grow. So, they often face po more challenges during crisis kasi nga po, meron silang fewer resources. So, lastly po is contingency strategies. So, contingency strategies po are like backup plans a business creates in case something goes wrong. So, ito po yung mga plano na nakaka-help sa company para ma-continue nila mag-operate when unexpected events happen. So, for example po, losing a key supplier or facing a natural disaster, meron silang backup plan dun na gagamitin para makapag-continue silang mag-operate. So now po, let's walk through the theoretical framework that supports this research on SMEs, governance, and crisis management. The first theory that we use po is the resource-based view or RBV theory. So, originally developed by Barney in 1991. So, this theory po, ina-argue niya po na yung company's internal resources, things like skilled employees, leadership systems, and organizational culture are the key sources of competitive advantages. So, in the context of SMEs po, this means that governance structures themselves are valuable resources. So, when a business has strong, well-defined governance like advisory boards, clear responsibilities and decision-making systems, it becomes better equipped po to respond to crisis efficiently and maintain stability. So, si Sorman et al. Po, 2024, further support this idea by emphasizing that system with strong internal governance mechanisms are more resilient and nakaka-bounce back po sila, nakaka-recover po sila mas mabilis pagka may disruptions na nag-occur. Now po, let's move on to the stakeholder theory introduced by Freeman in 1984. So, this theory po says that the business don't operate in isolation but they have a responsibility to consider all the interests of their stakeholders. So, during a crisis po, effective communication and engagement with stakeholders become essential. Kasi po, yung stakeholders po, pagka napil po nila na sila ay na-ignore, trust can be damaged and that damage po can make the recovery even harder. So, according po to Manazek, Lizano, 2019, and Acquire et al. 2008, when SMEs po use governance frameworks to actively involve stakeholders in decisions and updates, they are more likely to manage the crisis well and regain momentum afterward. So now po, let's talk about crisis management in small and medium-sized enterprises or SMEs. So, we will look at how corporate governance po ay nakaka-help to prepare, respond, and recover from crisis po. So, panguna is crisis preparedness and prevention. So, yung corporate governance po ay na-help po nito yung SMEs na makapag-move from being reactive to proactive. So, instead po na mag-wait na lang sila sa mga problems, they will use po early warning systems, conduct risk audits, and plan for potential scenarios. So, for example po, Tata Group SMEs in India spotted and managed COVID-19 supply chain risk early thanks to regular risk checks and continuity plans. So, second one po is crisis response and decision making. So, during a crisis, governance provides po a leadership, speeds up decisions, and helps to allocate resources efficiently. So, for example po is Brewdog. So, yung Brewdog po ay nag-shift po sila from brewing to making hand sanitizer during the pandemic. So, dito po pinakita po yung strong leadership po kung saan po nakapag-adapt po sila agad at nakapag-decide po sila ng ayos para sa kanilang business. So, third and lastly po is post-crisis recovery and business continuity po. So, after a crisis po, a good governance po help business rebuild through stakeholder communication, reputation repair, and restructuring. So, for example po ito ay mga tie suppliers for Honda and Toyota na naka-recover po quickly from the 2011 floods sa tulong po ng joint risk governance contracts po na ipinataw sa bawat isa. So now let us explore the challenges and opportunities in governance that SMEs face during crisis management. So let's start with the challenges muna po. So many SMEs nga po struggle during crisis because they have limited resources and informal governance structures. So minsan po ay nagre-rely lang po sila sa mga few individuals to make decisions. So as Kumala and Kopochit 2004 explained this, yung overdependence daw po at lack ng proper governance frameworks will lead to slow responses and higher vulnerability, especially when the key personnel are unavailable. On top of that po, evolving regulation and poor stakeholder communication po can create even more pressure. So, when communication breaks down po, yung trust po, syempre, humihina din po yun para sa mga employee, customer, supplier, at even the investor. So, yun po yung pinoint out ni Sikder and Hassan sa kanilang study noong 2025. But there are also clear opportunities po. Hindi lang po puro challenges. So, SMEs po can improve governance by adopting structured frameworks like forming advisory boards and setting up clear and consistent decision-making processes. So, according to Chen po by 2025, diversifying leadership and including external advisor helps reduce reliance on just one or two individuals. Also po, technology is a game changer. So, tools like blockchain and AI can make governance more transparent, improve compliance, and support real-time decision-making. So, Munyayi and Popo noong 2025 show how digital tools can help SMEs respond better and faster. So, pinata po nila kung paano po makapag-respond yung mga SMEs sa tulong po ng mga blockchain and AI para sa governance po nito. And lastly po, of course po, is good communication. So, good communication is key po. So, engaging stakeholders and doing regular audits and being transparent builds trust po and ensures that everyone is aligned when crisis hits. So, ito po yung hinighlight po ng study po ni Cardoni et al. And Chen noong 2025. So, pag meron po tayong good communication, mas madali po nating maayos yung mga problemang maaaring magdaan sa ating businesses.
Good day and thank you for staying with us. I am Jenny Ann V. Santos and I'll be wrapping up our presentation with Chapter 3, which focuses on our data gathering process. This chapter covers data collection, presentation, analysis, and the justifications behind our approach. Since direct access to SMEs was not feasible for this research, this study relied entirely on secondary data. We selected 3 Philippine SMEs that had varying experiences with crisis and different levels of corporate governance to analyze how corporate governance influenced their responses. The data was collected from existing sources such as case studies, journal articles, business reports, and other credible materials that detailed each company's crisis management and governance structures. These sources provided real-world examples of how governance played a role in decision-making and crisis recovery. The following are the profiles of the 3 companies we studied. First, we have Discar Indigenous Products or DIPS. It is owned by Ms. Diana J. Discar and was established in January 2014 in Naparaan, Salcedo, Eastern Samar. The company specializes in indigenous and eco-friendly products. Second is Victoria's Milling Company or VMC, one of the oldest sugar milling companies in the Philippines. It was founded on May 7, 1919 and is based on Victoria's City, Negros Occidental. The original owners include Don Miguel Osorio and his partners. Lastly, we look at Polytechnic Savings Bank Incorporation or PSBI. It was established in 1989 as a thrift bank and in 1996, Wayward acquired majority ownership. PSBI focused mainly on savings and mortgage banking. These companies were selected for their differing governance structures and crisis experiences, which gave us a balanced view for comparison. Now, let's look at the comparison of these 3 cases focusing on their governance structure, crisis type, impact, response, and outcome. DIPS was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic like many small businesses around the world. The company had a strong governance structure in place before the crisis. This included clear leadership roles, internal controls, and a proactive approach to risk. Because of lockdowns and supply problems, since they used native materials, they had to temporarily close. In response, DIPS acted quickly by adopting health and safety protocols, adjusting its operations, and renegotiating agreements with suppliers to keep costs manageable. As a result, the company not only reopened operations but also managed to expand. VMC was heavily affected by the Asian financial crisis between 1997 and 1999. Before the crisis, their governance was weak. There were no clear roles and they lacked proper supervision, which made them vulnerable to external shocks. The crisis caused severe financial distress, including increased debt and liquidity problems. But VMC responded by implementing major reforms. They restructured their debt, reduced staff, and improved governance by appointing new board members and improving financial reporting. These challenges helped them recover slowly. The company regained financial stability and became more prepared for future challenges. PSBI's crisis was not caused by external factor but by internal financial mismanagement. Their governance was weak. There were no transparency, no accountability, and the board didn't supervise properly. The impact was significant, leading to financial losses, regulatory violations, and eventually insolvency. Unlike DIPS and VMC, PSBI failed to implement reforms. Despite early warnings and signs of poor performance, there were no effective measures taken to restructure or improve governance. This led to the worst-case scenario, closure of the business, with losses affecting investors, depositors, and employees. The findings of this research suggest that SMEs with structured governance system are more resilient during crisis, while those with poor governance are more likely to struggle or fail. Additionally, we identified that strong corporate governance is closely linked to crisis resilience. SMEs like DIPS with clear structures adapted quickly and reduced the impact of the crisis. In contrast, firms like PSBI with weak governance struggled to recover. Second, we observed that governance reforms can support recovery. BMC started with weak governance but was able to regain financial stability after making key improvements. Lastly, we noted that proactive strategies help businesses survive. DIPS responded quickly, while PSBI and VMC were more reactive, which delayed their recovery. We also looked at how our findings aligned with corporate governance theories. First, the resource-based view is seen in DIPS and VMC, where the strong corporate governance acted as a resource that helped them manage the crisis. Second, the stakeholder theory is supported. Firms that considered stakeholders' interests like DIPS and the improved VMC were more resilient. PSBI, which lacked transparency and stakeholder focus, failed. A key limitation of our study is the use of secondary data. Without interviews or surveys, we couldn't gather direct input from SME decision makers. As a result, we relied on existing reports which may not fully show how internal governance worked during the crisis. Despite this, the available data still allowed us to draw meaningful conclusions. We chose to use secondary data because it is not within our reach to conduct interviews or surveys to SME owners. Secondary data allowed us to study multiple cases across industries and crises, giving us a broader view of governance practices. It also provided structured, published insights that helped us analyze patterns without needing direct contact with the companies. This made secondary data a practical and effective choice for our research. Additionally, to ensure reliability and validity, we cited data from credible sources like academic journals and industry reports. We also cross-checked multiple sources to reduce bias and confirm patterns in the findings. And this marks the end of our research presentation. On behalf of the group, we would like to express our gratitude for your time and patience in joining us virtually today. Should you have any questions, clarifications, or feedback, please feel free to send them via email. We will gladly respond at the soonest possible time. Thank you and have a great day.